Aaron had always been curious about the stars. Growing up on the colony world of Calora, he spent his nights staring at the sky, imagining distant worlds filled with creatures and mysteries. The colony was a quiet place, far from the central planets built around mining rare minerals. Life was simple, almost dull, but Aaron liked it. He liked the routine of patrolling the rocky canyons that surrounded the settlement. The sky had been stormy that night. Energy storms rolled across the horizon, painting the clouds with colors that flickered between green and purple. Lightning danced along the canyon walls. Most people stayed inside during storms, but Aaron could not sleep. Something in him pushed him to the cliffs as if the storm was calling. He walked carefully along the jagged rocks, his boots crunching on the gravel. The wind tugged at his uniform, but he did not care. Suddenly, a shadow moved among the rocks. At first, he thought it was an animal, maybe one of the native scavengers. But then he saw it was a figure, tall and thin, crouched low and trembling. Aaron's heart beat faster. He raised his hand to signal, but the figure did not move. He stepped closer, calling softly, "Hello? Are you hurt?" The figure lifted its head. Aaron froze. It was a girl, but not like any human he had seen. Her skin was pale, almost glowing under the storm's light. Her eyes were deep red, shining with an intensity that made him look away for a moment. She had long black hair that fell over her shoulders, and a few scratches across her arms and face. Her uniform was torn, and there were strange markings on her skin that looked like symbols etched with glowing ink. Aaron swallowed hard. Who are you?" The girl's lips moved and she spoke softly. "My name is Vera." The name sounded foreign, musical, and strange. Aaron had never heard it before. He knelt a few steps away, not wanting to scare her. He noticed her breathing was shallow and she seemed weak. Her eyes locked on his, and Aaron felt a strange chill run down his spine. "You're hurt. Let me help," he said, reaching into his bag for the first aid kit. Vera watched him silently. She did not resist, but she did not speak again. Aaron carefully cleaned the scratches on her arm and applied antiseptic. Her skin felt cold under his fingers, but not unpleasantly so. There was something about her that was different, something powerful even in weakness. When he finished, Vera placed her hand on his arm. The moment she touched him, Aaron felt a sudden warmth like fire spreading through his veins. He gasped and pulled back slightly. A mark had appeared on his forearm. It was a symbol, similar to the ones on her skin. It glowed faintly in the stormlight. Aaron stared at it, confused and afraid. What is this?" he asked. Vera's eyes softened. "It is a bond," she said. "It connects us. You are chosen to help me." Aaron's mind raced. He had read about alien species in the colony archives, but this was beyond anything he had imagined. A bond? Chosen? He looked at her again. She was pale, almost fragile, but there was strength in her eyes. "I don't understand," he admitted. "You will," she whispered. "If you survive the night." Before Aaron could ask what she meant, a loud roar echoed from the canyon below. Rocks tumbled as something massive moved through the shadows. Aaron stood, shielding Vera with his body. From the darkness, a creature appeared. It was taller than any human, with dark armored skin and eyes that burned yellow. Its mouth opened to reveal sharp teeth, and it let out a chilling growl. Vera stood, her eyes glowing brighter. "Run!" she shouted. Aaron hesitated. He had trained for emergencies, but he had never faced anything like this. The creature stepped closer, and its claws dug into the rock, sending sparks flying. Aaron grabbed Vera's hand, and they ran along the narrow ledge of the canyon. The wind whipped against their faces, and lightning illuminated the path ahead. Aaron could hear the creature behind them, its heavy steps shaking the ground. They reached a small cave tucked behind a cluster of rocks. Aaron pushed Vera inside, then blocked the entrance as best he could. They crouched in the darkness, breathing heavily. Vera's hand still rested on his arm, and the mark burned slightly, filling him with energy. He felt faster, stronger, more alert. He looked at her in wonder. "Well, what are you?" he asked. "I am Vera, last of my people," she said, her voice calm but urgent. "We were hunters once, protectors of the stars. But our enemies destroyed us. I am the last." Aaron swallowed hard. "Last, you mean everyone else is gone?" Vera nodded. "Yes, I survived, but they are coming for me. And now you are tied to my fate, that mark. It chose you as my protector." Aaron's mind spun. He had never believed in destiny or magic. He had always trusted science and reason. But the energy he felt coursing through him was real. His heart pounded as he realized that helping Vera was no longer a choice. "Why me?" he asked quietly. "You are human," she said, "and humans have a strength that my kind cannot fully understand. You have courage, and your spirit is not easily broken. That is why the bond chose you." Aaron looked at the symbol on his arm. It glowed softly, pulsing with his heartbeat. He felt a connection to Vera he could not explain. He wanted to run, to hide, but he knew he could not. Something inside him told him that helping her was the right thing, even if he did not yet understand the consequences. The storm outside raged on, lightning striking nearby, shaking the cave. Vera whispered, "We must move before they find us." Aaron nodded. He picked up his small pack and slung it over his shoulder. Vera's energy seemed to guide him. As they crawled out of the cave and into the canyon, he realized his senses were sharper. He could see in the dim light as if it were day. He could hear the faintest sounds of the storm and the creature moving behind them. They ran for what felt like hours. The storm began to ease, leaving only heavy clouds and a dim light over the canyon. Aaron and Vera stopped by a river, breathing heavily. Vera knelt by the water, cupping it in her hands. She drank slowly, then offered some to Aaron. "Thank you," he said. Vera shook her head. "No. Thank me only when you understand the bond. Tonight was the first step." Aaron looked at her, feeling a strange mix of fear and awe. The mark burned gently, a reminder that his life had changed forever. He did not know what lay ahead, but he felt ready, as if the energy in him was preparing him for trials he could not yet see. The night passed with little sleep. They huddled together on the riverbank, listening to distant roars and the occasional crack of falling rocks. Aaron could feel Vera's presence as more than just physical. There was a rhythm in her breathing that matched the energy of the mark, and he felt it pulsing in his veins. When dawn came, Aaron looked at the alien princess beside him. She was silent, her eyes closed, resting briefly from the ordeal. He thought about the events of the night, the creature, the storm, the bond. A strange sense of destiny settled in him. He realized that the galaxy was far bigger than Kalora and far more dangerous. But he also realized that for the first time, he was part of something extraordinary. He reached out and gently touched her hand. The mark flared briefly, and he felt a warmth that was comforting and powerful at the same time. He knew this was only the beginning. Whatever challenges awaited them, he would face them. He did not yet understand the full meaning of being chosen, but he understood that he could not turn away. Vera opened her eyes and looked at him. "Are you ready, Aaron?" He nodded slowly, feeling a strength he had never known. "Yes," he said. And together, they set out into the canyon, the first rays of sunlight breaking through the clouds, marking the start of a journey that would change both their lives forever. The sun rose over the jagged cliffs of Kalora, casting long shadows across the canyon where Aaron and Vera had spent the night. The storm had passed, leaving the rocks glistening with moisture and the air crisp and electric. Aaron stretched his stiff muscles and glanced at Vera. She was already awake, her red eyes scanning the horizon as if listening for something only she could hear. "You have to tell me everything," Aaron said, breaking the silence. His voice was calm, but curiosity burned inside him. "Who are you, really? Why are you here? And what was that mark you left on me?" Vera looked at him, her expression serious. "I will tell you," she said softly. "But you must understand something first. What happened last night is only the beginning. There are forces in this galaxy that will hunt me without mercy. They destroyed my people, and if they find us, they will not hesitate to destroy you as well." Aaron frowned. "Destroyed your people? How many are left?" "Just me," she said. Her voice was steady, but a shadow of sadness passed across her face. "I am the last of the Rilith. Once our people ruled the stars, protecting worlds and guiding civilizations. But greed and fear led others to rise against us. They saw our strength as a threat. They attacked without warning. I barely survived." Aaron swallowed hard. He had read about alien species, but never like this. A proud ancient civilization wiped out in an instant. "And that means they are after you now?" he asked. "Yes," Vera said. "They will come, and because of the mark they will also see you as connected to me. You are now tied to my fate, Aaron. You cannot escape it." Aaron looked down at his forearm. The mark still glowed faintly like a heartbeat beneath his skin. He had felt it pulse through the night, giving him strength and clarity. His senses were sharper, his reflexes quicker. The feeling was strange and powerful, but it also frightened him. I don't know if I can do this, he admitted. You can, Vera said firmly. The bond does not force you to obey. It strengthens what is already inside you. Your courage, your will, your spirit, those are what matter. That is why you were chosen. Aaron tried to absorb her words. Chosen, protector, bond. It was too much to process. He had always believed in human ingenuity and resilience, but never in destiny. Yet standing beside Vera, he felt something shift inside him. He realized that he was no longer an ordinary human on a quiet colony. His life had changed in ways he could not yet understand. They began to move. Vera led him along narrow paths carved into the cliffs, guiding him through hidden routes she had memorized. Aaron followed closely, alert to every sound. The colony was far behind them now, and the canyon stretched endlessly in all directions. As they walked, Vera spoke again. The Realithe had powers that humans cannot fully understand. We could draw energy from the stars, from life, from the universe itself. That is how we protected ourselves and our people. But it also made us targets. Some called us vampires, not because we drank blood, but because we drew strength from living energy. It is a way of life we do not take lightly. Aaron nodded slowly. And the mark on my arm? Is it part of that? Yes, Vera said. It is a symbol of connection. Through it, we share energy. I can guide you, strengthen you, and protect you. But it also links our fates. If anything happens to me, you will feel it. And if anything happens to you, I will feel it. That is why it is so important you understand your role. They reached a clearing near a narrow stream. Aaron knelt to drink, cupping water in his hands. The mark pulsed softly, and he felt a warmth spread from his arm into his chest. He had no idea how it worked, but he could feel the energy flowing through him. He looked at Vera. You are more than human now, she said, noticing his glance. Not in body, but in spirit. You have the potential to do things you never imagined. That is why the bond chose you. The galaxy needs humans like you, courageous, resourceful, and willing to face the impossible. Aaron felt a mix of fear and excitement. He had never thought of himself as special. He had grown up in a quiet colony, learning to patrol, to survive, to follow orders. Now he was tied to a princess from a lost alien civilization, hunted by enemies he had never seen, and somehow the bond had given him power. He felt faster, sharper, stronger than before. It was like his body had been upgraded, but in a way that was natural, not mechanical. Are we safe here? He asked, glancing at the dense rocks around them. For a time, Vera said, but not for long. They will come. You must be ready. Aaron swallowed. How do we stop them? Vera looked out toward the horizon. We don't. We survive. We hide. We wait for the right moment. They are strong, but not unbeatable. And you are stronger than they know. As the day wore on, Aaron began to notice subtle changes. His vision was sharper. He could see small movements in the rocks from far away. Sounds that had been distant became clear. The rustle of animals, the whisper of the wind, the distant call of birds. Even his reflexes were faster. He could jump farther, run quicker, and move with a confidence he had never known. The bond was real, and its effects were undeniable. Vera watched him with a small smile. Do not be afraid of the power, she said. It is not dangerous. It is a tool. Use it wisely. Learn to trust it. They spent the afternoon moving through the canyon, following hidden paths and avoiding open spaces. Vera taught Aaron how to move silently, how to sense danger before it appeared, and how to trust his instincts. With every step, Aaron felt himself changing. The fear that had gripped him the night before was giving way to confidence. He realized that the human spirit, when paired with alien knowledge, could achieve remarkable things. As evening approached, they reached a cave that Vera identified as a safe place to rest. She led Aaron inside, and he immediately noticed the air was warmer, the space protected from the wind. She sat near the entrance and gestured for him to sit beside her. There is something else you must know, she said quietly. The mark does more than strengthen you. It also connects us emotionally. You will feel my fear, my pain, my joy as if they were your own. That is part of the bond. It is why we can trust each other completely. You will know when I am in danger even if I do not speak. Aaron nodded slowly. I think I understand, he said. It is like, we are linked. Yes, Vera said. Linked in spirit, in energy, and in purpose. You were not chosen by chance. You were chosen because you have the strength to face what comes next. The night settled over the canyon. Stars twinkled faintly above, visible between the scattered clouds. Aaron and Vera sat quietly, listening to the sounds of the world around them. For the first time, Aaron felt a sense of connection, not just to Vera, but to the universe. He realized that the galaxy was not just a collection of planets and stars, but a place filled with life, power, and hidden potential. Vera spoke softly, almost to herself. Long ago, my people believed that humans could rise to greatness. That one day, a human would stand beside a relith and face the darkness. Perhaps that human is you, Aaron. Aaron felt a surge of pride and responsibility. He had never imagined that he could play a role in something so important. He had always thought of himself as ordinary. But now he understood that ordinary humans could do extraordinary things when given the chance. As sleep approached, Aaron felt the warmth of the bond pulsing through him, steady and comforting. He knew that the journey ahead would be dangerous, full of unknown challenges and enemies. But for the first time, he did not feel afraid. He had Vera by his side, and he had the strength of the bond. He would face whatever came next with courage, skill, and determination. And as he drifted into sleep, the mark on his arm glowed softly, a silent promise that his life had changed forever. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but together, he and Vera would navigate it. Together, they would face the darkness. The adventure had only just begun. Aaron woke to the soft light of dawn filtering through the narrow opening of the cave. The air was cool and fresh, carrying the faint scent of wet rocks and the distant forest. Vera was already awake, sitting quietly near the entrance, her red eyes scanning the horizon. She did not speak immediately, but Aaron could feel the tension in her posture. Something was coming, and she was ready. He stretched and rubbed the mark on his arm. It pulsed gently like a heartbeat, reminding him of the bond that tied him to her. The energy it gave him felt stronger today. Sharper, almost alive. He had grown used to it over the last day, but the bond was not just about power. It was about connection, guidance, and understanding. Aaron had learned to trust it, and through it he had learned to trust Vera. "Aaron," Vera said softly, "we cannot stay here. They will find us soon. We must keep moving." Aaron nodded. "I understand. But where do we go?" Vera pointed to the distant mountains. "There is a hidden valley beyond those peaks. Few know of it. There we can rest safely, at least for a while. Follow me." They left the cave, moving swiftly but carefully through the rocky terrain. Aaron noticed how Vera's presence seemed to guide him. With every step, the bond pulsed, alerting him to small dangers he would have missed before. Loose stones, hidden ledges, and even the faint tracks of other creatures became clear to him. He realized that the mark was not just a gift of strength, it was a gift of awareness. As they moved, the silence of the canyon was broken by distant sounds. A low rumble echoed from behind them, followed by the faint snapping of branches. Aaron's heart rate increased. The hunters had found their trail. "They are faster than we expected," Vera said calmly, though her eyes narrowed. "You must trust the bond. Listen to it. It will guide you." Aaron focused on the mark, feeling the energy flow through him. Suddenly he could hear the faintest steps even over the wind and birds. He turned slightly, spotting shadows moving along the cliffs. The hunters were there, and they were closing in. They were not human. Their movements were precise, silent, and deadly. They wore dark armor that shimmered in the morning light, and their eyes glowed like fire. Aaron swallowed. Fear rose in his chest, but the bond steadied him. He felt Vera beside him, her presence calm, powerful, and reassuring. Together they moved with speed and precision, navigating narrow paths and hidden ledges that led deeper into the canyon. The hunters followed, relentless, their eyes fixed on the glowing mark on Aaron's arm. The chase continued for hours. Aaron and Vera crossed streams, climbed steep cliffs, and hid in thick brush. Each time the hunters closed in, the bond pulsed, warning him, guiding him. He began to feel almost in tune with Vera, sensing her thoughts and movements before she acted. It was a strange, powerful feeling. He was no longer just human. He was part of something larger, something extraordinary. During a brief rest, Aaron asked, "Why are they so determined to find you?" Vera looked at him, her expression serious. "They believe that the last of my kind holds the key to ultimate power. My people once ruled the stars. They destroyed us out of fear. They want to finish what they started." Aaron nodded slowly. "And they see me as a threat because of the mark?" "Yes," she said. "The bond connects you to me. To them, anyone linked to me is dangerous. That is why you are now part of this. You cannot turn away, Aaron. You are chosen to help me survive." Aaron clenched his fists, feeling a mixture of fear and determination. He had never imagined being part of something like this. He had always thought of himself as ordinary, a human from a quiet colony. But now he realized that humans could be extraordinary when faced with impossible challenges. He had the bond, he had Vera, and he had his courage. That was enough. As night approached, they reached the edge of a dense forest. Vera paused, listening. The hunters were still following, but they were slowing down, unable to navigate the thick trees as easily as Aran and Vera. She led him into the forest, moving silently between the trunks. Shadows and moonlight played across the leaves, creating patterns that made it hard for anyone to follow. Suddenly a branch snapped loudly. Aran froze and Vera immediately moved in front of him. From the shadows, a hunter stepped forward, its armor catching the faint moonlight. Its eyes burned red and it held a weapon that hummed with energy. Aran's heart pounded, but the bond pulsed, steadying him. He felt Vera's presence beside him, calm and alert. The hunter lunged forward, but Aran reacted instinctively, faster than he thought possible. He dodged to the side, grabbing a branch to swing at the attacker. Vera moved with him, striking with precision. Together they fought the hunter, their movements almost synchronized, the bond guiding them. Within moments, the hunter lay unconscious. Aran stared at the figure, breathing heavily. I didn't think I could do that, he said, still in shock. You did, Vera said, placing a hand on his arm. The mark glowed softly, as if approving. The bond is teaching you, Aran. You are learning to trust it and trust yourself. They continued deeper into the forest. Aran's senses were heightened, his reflexes quickened, and his courage grew. He began to understand what Vera had meant. The bond was not just power. It was connection, guidance, and trust. Together, they were stronger than any hunter. After hours of careful travel, they reached the hidden valley Vera had spoken of. It was a small clearing surrounded by tall cliffs and thick vegetation. A stream ran through the center and the ground was soft and dry. Aran and Vera sank to the ground, exhausted but relieved. This place is safe, at least for now, Vera said. We can rest and recover before the hunters find us again. Aran nodded, feeling the weight of the past day. The chase had tested him, pushed him beyond his limits, and shown him the bond's power. He had faced fear, danger, and uncertainty, and he had survived. More than that, he had begun to feel a deep connection to Vera, a sense of trust and purpose that he had never known before. As they rested, Vera shared more about her people. She told Aran about the Relith's history, their knowledge of the stars, and the way they had once protected countless worlds. She explained how her enemies had betrayed them, using fear and greed to destroy an entire civilization. Aran listened, fascinated. He realized that the galaxy was far more complex than he had imagined. There were civilizations beyond human understanding, powers beyond human reach, and destinies that could intertwine in ways no one expected. The bond chooses carefully, Vera said, her red eyes glowing softly. It does not connect with just anyone. It seeks those who are brave, resourceful, and willing to face impossible challenges. You, Aran, were chosen because you have the strength within you. Aran felt a mix of pride and responsibility. He had never thought of himself as special. But now he understood that ordinary humans could rise to extraordinary challenges when given the chance. He looked at Vera and realized that together, they could face the galaxy's dangers. The night passed quietly. The hunters had not followed them into the valley, and the bond pulsed gently, calming Aran and guiding his thoughts. He felt more confident than ever, aware of his surroundings and ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. By morning, Aran and Vera were moving again, leaving the valley behind. The chase had taught them both valuable lessons: the importance of trust, the strength of the bond, and the resilience of the human spirit. Aran realized that he was no longer the same person who had patrolled the canyons of Kaelora. He had grown, changed, and become part of something greater. As they climbed a steep ridge, Aran looked out over the landscape. Mountains stretched to the horizon, forests and rivers weaving through the land like silver threads. The galaxy was vast, full of danger and wonder, but he felt ready. With Vera at his side and the bond guiding him, he knew they could survive anything. Vera glanced at him, her expression softening. You are learning quickly, she said. The hunters will not give up easily, but I believe in you, Aran. Together we can face whatever comes next. Aran nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. The chase had tested him, but it had also shown him his potential. He was no longer just a human from a quiet colony. He was a protector, a partner, and part of a bond that could shape the fate of an entire civilization. As they moved forward, the sun rose higher, illuminating the path ahead. The bond pulsed gently on Aaron's arm, a constant reminder that his life had changed forever. The hunters were out there, but he was no longer afraid. He had strength, guidance, and courage. And together with Vera, he would face the challenges of the galaxy, ready for whatever came next. The sun was beginning its slow descent, casting golden light across the cliffs and valleys of Kalora. Aaron and Vera had traveled far since leaving the hidden valley. Their journey had tested every skill Aaron had, forcing him to rely on the bond and on his own courage. Even now he could feel the pulse of the mark, guiding him, warning him, connecting him to Vera in ways he was still learning to understand. They stopped on a narrow ridge overlooking a vast desert below. Vera crouched, scanning the horizon with her sharp red eyes. "They are close," she said. "I can feel their presence. Soon they will try to separate us." Aaron swallowed hard. He had feared this moment, but the bond kept him steady. "What do they want from you?" he asked. "They want to eliminate me," Vera said, her voice calm but firm. "They believe that as the last Relith, I hold knowledge and power that must not survive. They will not stop until I am gone. And now, because of the bond, you are part of their target as well." Aaron looked down at the glowing mark on his arm. He felt a mixture of fear and determination. He had already faced hunters once, but this felt different. They were closer, more organized, and more dangerous. He knew that if they were caught unprepared, it could mean death. Vera stood and motioned for him to follow. "We must move carefully. There will be a choice soon, Aaron. You must decide what you are willing to risk for this journey, for me and for the bond." Aaron nodded. "I will not abandon you," he said firmly. "No matter what happens." Vera's eyes softened. "I hoped you would say that," she said. "But it will not be easy. They will offer you freedom if you leave me behind. That is their way. They know humans value their safety. They will test you." The thought chilled Aaron. He had grown to care deeply for Vera, not just because of the bond, but because of her courage and wisdom. Leaving her behind was not an option. Still, the warning made him cautious. He would have to be clever, patient, and ready for anything. As they descended the ridge, the terrain became rougher. Jagged rocks and loose gravel slowed their progress, but the bond guided Aaron's steps, alerting him to dangers before they appeared. They crossed narrow ledges and climbed steep slopes, using every skill they had learned. Aaron's muscles burned, but the energy from the bond kept him moving, sharper and stronger than ever. Suddenly, a strange sound reached their ears. A low hum followed by a shimmer in the air. Aaron froze, and Vera crouched beside him. From the horizon, a fleet of dark ships emerged, hovering silently above the desert. They were unlike any machines Aaron had seen before. Sleek, black, and ominous, with energy pulses that seemed to scan the land for life. "They have found us," Vera said quietly. "We must act quickly." Aaron's heart pounded. He had faced hunters on foot, but this was different. The fleet could attack from above, cutting off their escape. He looked at Vera, who seemed calm despite the danger. Her eyes glowed faintly, and he felt the pulse of the bond surge through him. "What do we do?" he asked. Vera gestured to a narrow canyon below. "We split their attention. I will draw some of them away. You must use your speed and instincts to move ahead and find a safe place to hide. This will test your courage, Aaron. You must decide if you are ready." Aaron felt a moment of panic. Splitting up seemed dangerous, but he trusted Vera. He felt the bond guiding him, giving him confidence. "I am ready," he said. Vera nodded. "Then we begin." As they moved, the fleet's energy pulses detected them. Suddenly, hunters appeared on the ground, more numerous than before. They moved with precision, trying to surround them. Vera acted quickly, using her strength and agility to lead half of the hunters away. Aaron felt the bond surge, guiding him along a hidden path through the canyon. He ran faster than he had ever imagined, leaping over rocks and sliding down slopes, his senses alert to every sound and movement. The hunters pursued him relentlessly. He could feel their presence, hear their footsteps, sense their intent. But the bond gave him clarity. He anticipated their moves, dodging traps, avoiding obstacles, and using the terrain to his advantage. It was exhausting, but he felt alive, powerful, and capable. After hours of running and hiding, Aaron found himself in a secluded canyon with walls high enough to block the fleet's sensors. He paused, breathing heavily, and looked at the mark on his arm. It glowed faintly, a reminder that Vera was out there, still fighting, still leading, still protecting him as he protected her. Vera returned to him at dusk, moving silently through the shadows. She looked tired but unharmed. "You did well," she said. "The hunters underestimated your determination. I am proud of you, Aaron." Aaron felt a surge of pride. He had faced danger, relied on the bond, and survived. But he also knew the choice was far from over. The fleet would not stop. The hunters would not give up. And soon they would face a test that would challenge everything they had learned. As night fell, Vera shared more about the choice Iran would soon face. "The hunters will offer you freedom," she explained. "They will promise safety if you abandon me. They believe fear can control humans. You must decide if your courage is greater than your fear. This is the true test of the bond." Aaron listened carefully. The thought of being offered safety in exchange for abandoning Vera made him angry. He had grown to trust her, to rely on the bond, and to care for her as more than just an ally. Leaving her was impossible. He would face the danger with her, no matter the cost. The bond pulsed, and Aaron felt a connection deeper than before. He could sense Vera's thoughts, her strategy, and her resolve. He felt her determination, her courage, and her hope. It was overwhelming, but it strengthened him. He realized that the bond was not just a tool for survival. It was a test of character, a way to measure courage, loyalty, and heart. Suddenly, a light shimmered in the distance. The hunters had set a trap. Aaron and Vera approached cautiously, aware of every movement. The trap was clever, designed to separate them and weaken their bond. Vera's eyes glowed and she took Aaron's hand. "We face this together," she said. The hunters emerged, surrounding them. "Leave her," one said, its voice mechanical and cold. "You can live if you abandon her." Aaron felt a surge of anger and determination. He looked at Vera and then at the hunters. "I will not leave her," he said firmly. "We face this together." The hunters attacked, but Aaron and Vera moved as one. The bond guided their movements, giving them speed, clarity, and strength. They dodged, countered, and fought with precision. The hunters were strong, but they underestimated the combination of human determination and Relith power. Aaron struck with skill, using his enhanced reflexes, while Vera moved with grace and strength. Together, they overcame the attackers, forcing them to retreat. After the battle, Aaron and Vera stood together, exhausted but victorious. The choice had been made. Aaron had faced fear, danger, and temptation, and he had chosen courage, loyalty, and trust. He had proven himself worthy of the bond, worthy of the title Vera had given him, and worthy of the challenges that lay ahead. Vera placed a hand on his arm. "You are ready," she said softly. "The bond is stronger than ever. We will face greater dangers, but I know we can survive. Together." Aaron nodded, feeling a deep sense of pride, strength, and connection. The bond pulsed, steady and reassuring. He realized that the choice he had made was not just about survival. It was about honor, courage, and trust. He had embraced his destiny, and he was ready for whatever the galaxy would throw at them next. As they moved forward into the night, Aaron felt a sense of purpose like never before. He was no longer just a human from a quiet colony. He was a protector, a partner, and a chosen companion of the last Relith princess. The hunters would come again. The fleet would search relentlessly, but he was not afraid. The bond had prepared him, and his courage would carry them through. The journey was far from over, but for the first time Aaron understood what it meant to be truly chosen. He had made his choice, and he would not waver. Together with Vera, he would face the galaxy, defend the bond, and rise to meet whatever challenges awaited them. The dawn on Kalora's cliffs was crisp and golden. The sky stretched wide and clear, though the threat of the enemy fleet still loomed on the horizon. Aaron stood beside Vera, feeling the bond pulse through his arm. It was steady now, stronger than ever. Over the past days, the bond had guided, protected, and trained him. Now it felt like a part of him, giving him clarity and courage he had never known before. Vera scanned the horizon, her red eyes focused, alert. "They are coming," she said. "The fleet is above the valley. Their hunters are moving ahead to prepare the ground. This is the final test, Aaron. We cannot fail." Aaron swallowed, feeling a mixture of fear and determination. He had grown since the bond marked him. He had faced hunters in the forest, evaded traps in the canyon, and chosen loyalty over safety. But now they would face an entire fleet and a coordinated army. The challenge was immense, yet he felt ready. He was no longer just human. He was a protector, a partner, and a chosen companion of the last Relith princess. Vera placed a hand on his shoulder. Remember what we practiced. Trust the bond. Trust yourself. We move together and nothing can break us. Aaron nodded. I am ready. The two of them moved into position at the top of a ridge overlooking the valley. Below, the enemy hunters were organizing, setting up barriers and energy sensors. Above, sleek black ships hovered, scanning the terrain. Vera's plan was precise. They would draw attention, create confusion, and then strike at the heart of the enemy's operation. Every move would require perfect coordination. Aaron felt the bond pulse giving him heightened awareness. He could sense the hunters' positions, the energy pulses of the ships above, and Vera's movements. The bond guided his instincts, telling him when to move, when to attack, and when to stay hidden. He felt the confidence surge through him. He was ready. Vera crouched beside him. On my signal, she whispered. We begin. Suddenly, a bright pulse flashed from the enemy sensors. The hunters had noticed them. They rushed forward, weapons raised. Aaron reacted instantly, guided by the bond. He moved faster than he thought possible, dodging obstacles and striking with precision. The hunters were strong, but they underestimated the combination of human reflexes and Relith training. Vera moved alongside him, her movements fluid and deadly. Together they fought the hunters, their coordination perfect. The bond connected them, allowing them to anticipate each other's actions. Every strike, every dodge, every step was in harmony. Aaron felt exhilarated. He had never felt so alive, so capable, and so certain of his strength. As the hunters fell back, the fleet above began to descend. The ships unleashed energy pulses, scanning for life forms below. Vera raised her hand and a wave of energy surged from her. The ground trembled as the pulse disrupted the sensors, creating a shielded area in the valley. Aaron felt the energy flow through him, amplifying his strength and speed. The bond pulsed in unison with Vera's power, guiding him as he leaped and dodged, striking down hunters with precision. The battle was intense. Hunters charged in waves and energy pulses lit the valley. Aaron felt fatigue, but the bond kept him alert, focused and powerful. He could sense Vera's thoughts, her strategy, and her strength. Together they became an unstoppable force, combining human determination with Relith power. Hours passed, but neither Aaron nor Vera faltered. They moved like one being, the bond uniting them. The hunters were driven back, and the fleet above struggled to maintain control. Aaron realized that this was not just a fight for survival, it was a fight for destiny. The bond had chosen him for a reason. Humanity's courage, resourcefulness, and spirit could stand against even the strongest alien forces. Finally, the enemy commander appeared, a towering figure with glowing eyes and advanced armor. It moved with precision, issuing commands that coordinated the remaining hunters. Aaron felt a surge of fear, but the bond steadied him. Vera's hand pressed against his arm, and he felt her confidence, her courage, her trust. He would not falter. The commander advanced, weapon raised, but Aaron met it head-on. He dodged with speed he never knew he had, striking with precision, guided by the bond. Vera joined him, her energy radiating, creating openings and disrupting the commander's attacks. The fight was fierce, but together they overwhelmed him. The commander fell, and the remaining hunters retreated, leaving the fleet struggling to regroup. Aaron and Vera stood together on the ridge, breathing heavily, but victorious. The valley was theirs, the enemy defeated, at least for now. Aaron looked at Vera, feeling a mix of pride and awe. She had trusted him, guided him, and fought alongside him. Together they had overcome impossible odds. Vera stepped closer, her red eyes glowing softly. Aaron, she said, you have proven yourself. The bond is stronger than ever, and so is your courage. You have faced fear, danger, and choice, and you have emerged victorious. Aaron felt the weight of her words. He had grown so much since the mark appeared on his arm. He had faced hunters, survived a chase across the canyon, made the choice to stay loyal, and now had helped defeat an enemy fleet. He felt stronger, wiser, and more confident than ever before. Vera placed a hand on his arm. The mark glowed brightly, connecting them, pulsing with energy. By the bond, she said, you are chosen. Chosen to stand with me, to help rebuild my people and to protect the galaxy alongside the last Relith. Aaron's heart pounded. He had never imagined this, never imagined that he would be called chosen, that he would stand with a princess of a lost alien civilization. Yet looking at Vera, feeling the bond and recalling every challenge they had faced together, he knew it was true. He was part of something greater than himself. "I accept," he said firmly. "I will stand with you. Whatever comes, I will not leave your side." Vera smiled, a mix of relief and pride shining in her eyes. "Then together we will restore what was lost. Together we will ensure that fear and greed cannot destroy hope. Humanity and the Relief can achieve what no one else could imagine." Aaron looked out over the valley. The battle was over, but the journey had just begun. He had grown, learned, and proven that humans could rise to meet any challenge. He had faced fear, danger, and choice, and he had emerged stronger, united with Vera by the bond that connected them. The bond pulsed gently, reassuring him, filling him with strength and clarity. He understood now that being chosen was not about power or destiny alone. It was about courage, loyalty, and the willingness to face impossible odds. Humanity had spirit, determination, and resilience that could shine even in the darkest corners of the galaxy. As the sun rose higher, Aaron and Vera stood together, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The fleet had retreated, the hunters had been defeated, and the valley was safe. But more challenges awaited, dangers beyond their sight, enemies who would not give up, and a universe that tested every step of their journey. Yet Aaron was no longer afraid. He had Vera by his side, and the bond had strengthened him beyond his own understanding. Together they would face the galaxy, rebuild what was lost, and protect the future. The mark on his arm pulsed, a constant reminder of their connection, their courage, and their shared destiny. The story of the human and the last Relith princess was only beginning. They had fought, survived, and chosen each other, and together they would rise, proving that even in a vast and dangerous universe, the courage of a human heart could change everything. The galaxy awaited, but Aaron and Vera were ready. Chosen, united, and unbroken, they stepped forward, their bond shining brightly as a symbol of hope, strength, and the unyielding spirit of humanity.